Here's the brief news from the world over this week. Hope for Democrats, finally. After a year of disappointments, election victories across the country on Tuesday are giving the Democrat Party momentum going into the 2018 elections. Topping the list, Democrats won big in Virginia as Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam defeated longtime GOP insider Ed Gillespie in the race for governor. Northam rode a wave of strong anti-Trump sentiment that turned the Democratic base out in record numbers. Trump suggested in a tweet that Gillespie lost because he did not embrace Trump or his agenda during the campaign. In fact, Gillespie refused to be seen with the president and was late in pushing issues central to Trump's movement. It should also be pointed out the president lost Virginia in the presidential race. Also on Tuesday, wins in the gubernatorial race in New Jersey and in Washington state in the Senate. That gives Democrats full control of those respective state governments. Earlier this week, Pope Francis announced the appointment of two lay women to leadership positions in the Roman Curia. Dr. Gabriella Gambino, an expert on bioethics, and Dr. Linda Gisoni, a canon lawyer, were appointed undersecretaries in the Vatican Office of Laity, Family, and Life. The prefect of that dicastery, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, has said that he, like Pope Francis, is a firm believer that the future of the Church depends on the laity. The two women become the highest or third highest ranking officials in the department, and their appointments are seen as evidence of the Pope's determination to promote women within the Church's leadership. And yes, big change and small continues at the Vatican. Pope Francis has announced that he is banning the sale of tax-free cigarettes inside the Vatican. In doing so, it's giving up one of the biggest money makers for the Church, at least the Holy See. Cigarettes bring in an estimated 10 million euros annually, second only to its sale of gasoline. According to the press office, Francis made the decision because, quote, the Holy See cannot contribute to any activity that clearly damages the health of people. An estimated 40,000 people have access to Vatican shops, including employees, retirees, residents, accredited diplomats, and members of religious congregations. Thou shalt not smoke. And in a fiery rebuke on Wednesday, Pope Francis told the Vatican faithful to pay attention during Mass and stop taking pictures of him. The Holy Father said it's a bad thing that so many spend Mass talking to others or looking at their phone or even taking pictures during papal liturgies. These things, he said, are distractions that take focus away from the heart of the Church, the Eucharist. As far as taking pictures with your mobile devices, he noted, the priest says we lift up our hearts. He does not say we lift up our phones to take photographs. And during the 2005 conclave, Francis says he urged fellow cardinals to back the election of Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger as Pope. This revelation comes in a new book-length interview of the Pope by an Argentinian journalist. According to other reports, during the 2005 conclave, then Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio had strong support from reform-minded cardinals and finished second in the balloting. According to Francis, he asked his fellow cardinals to give their support to Ratzinger, saying that at that moment in history, the only man with the stature, the wisdom, and the necessary experience to be elected was Ratzinger. He said he also felt that the time was not yet right for a Latin American pope. And as the late Pope John Paul I was declared venerable by Pope Francis on Thursday, thus advancing his cause for sainthood, a new book reveals that the late Pope, who served just 33 days in 1978, did indeed die of a heart attack. The book, Papa Luciani, Chronicle of a Death, aims to put to rest numerous conspiracy theories of foul play and murder surrounding the death of the smiling Pope. The book presents evidence, including previously undisclosed medical reports from the Vatican archives, confirming original reports that the late pontiff most likely died of a heart attack. On the canonization front, the Vatican is also examining two purported miracles attributed to the late Pope's intercession. And this past weekend, a crowd of well over 10,000 gathered in India for the beatification ceremony of that country's first female martyr, Sister Rani Maria, a Franciscan Clarist nun. She was murdered in 1995 by an assassin hired by local Hindu landlords who resented her work among the poor. Sister Rani Maria encouraged workers to demand fair wages and taught them to avoid exorbitant interest rates on loans. The ceremony was presided over by the head of the Congregation for the Cause of Saints, Cardinal Angelo Amato, and sitting in the front row was her assassin. Though repentant and despite receiving forgiveness by Sister Rani's family, the assassin said he felt a weight of such a terrible crime, and he expressed happiness that the nun has been recognized as a martyr. What a story. And this sounds like a match made in heaven. Fashion and Catholicism will be the theme of the 2018 Met Gala in New York this spring. Heavenly Bodies, Fashion, and the Catholic Imagination will be presented by the Costume Institute. The exhibit hopes to create a dialogue between fashion and the masterworks of religious art. The upcoming show will be presented at the Anna Wintour Costume Center and the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Medieval Galleries and the Cloisters uptown. Pieces will include vestments on loan from the Sistine Chapel sacristy, as well as ensembles by designers like Versace, Chanel, and a recent controversial collection by John Galliano featuring models wearing papal mitres and swinging incense down red-carpeted runways. I'll bet Bill Donahue already has his tickets. Bill would look good in Versace, I think.